Shalom, shalom. Hi, my sisters. So, we're back and we're going to pick up at our Proverbs 31 chapter. So, last video we talked about the benefits of being a single mother, of being a single woman, and what are just some of the things that we can focus on during this season of our lives, right? So if you didn't catch that, you want to go back to the previous video and catch up on that. All right, so this session is about Proverbs 31. We walked through the entire chapter we read through, the entire chapter. That's how we ended out the last video. So I'm just going to flow through it again, and then we're going to take it verse by verse and just break down what's really going on, right? So Proverbs 31. I have a Hebrew-esque version, but I am going to read from the KVG version, the King James version, because I know that's what most people are tuned to, and so we can all follow along. So, Proverbs 31. So it says, so here's started the reading of the Most High Yahweh's word. All right, so let's go. So, Proverbs 31, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son, and what the son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. Give not thy strength unto woman, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, it is not for kings to drink wine, nor for princes strong drink, lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that may be of heavy hearts. Let them drink and forget his poverty. Let him drink, and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the case of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and the needy. Right? So this is up to verse 9. Then it says, from verse 10, who can find a virtuous woman? This is the part that we all probably know. For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do good him and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food she is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hand she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengthened in her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out not by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girls unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. She opened up her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is a law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Her many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth or reveres the Most High, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. Amen. There in the reading of the word. And as we're reading through this, I don't know if I can, I can't switch my screen real quick. It'd be so good for you guys to see this. So in this version that I'm reading, and even in my scriptures, you can see that it's flowing through the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. So it starts from Aleph, and it ends with Tau. And so it's a flowing, right? So the Aleph is the covering, then you have Bet, which is the house, and it goes on and on and on. I don't know all of them by heart. Don't judge me. If I see it, I'll know it. Bet, Gimel, which is like the foot, the trotting. Then you have the Dalit. Then you have Hey, Yod, and it continues. And so when we get to these verses, then I'll go more into that, because we're not going to start from verse 10. We got to start from the top. We have to start from verse 1. So let's start there. And then when we come here, then we'll pick up on what these symbols flowing along different virtues of this virtuous woman could mean and apply to. Okay, so the first verse says, so this is Proverbs 31, verse 1. That's where we're starting at. So it says, the words of King Lemuel, the prophecy that his mother taught him. So first of all, who is King Lemuel? This is still up for grabs. I have searched and I have not found any history on this king. If there's anyone out there that knows about King Lemuel, please put it in the comments or hit me up, give me a message on it. From the research I've been doing so far, I haven't found much information on him. It's been, I guess, guessed that it could be in reference to Solomon, right? So this is another name for Solomon, since it said that Solomon wrote the Proverbs. So that's still up for discussion, but we know for sure that there's a king that's being talked about here, and the king's mother has embedded these words into him, right? It's a prophecy, a message. Some in King James Version it says prophecy. In my scriptures it says message. Another one it's an oracle or utterance. So in general they're talking about a message that was passed on to him, right? So this message that was passed on to him, and I'm going to flip back into my Hebrew. Sometimes I go between Hebrew, the interlinear, just to get different versions. Not different versions, but different or deeper understanding of the scripture. So we know we're talking about a king, right? And the Hebrew word for king is melech, right? So you have Mem, Lamed, and Kaf, Kaf, Kaf. So we have Melech. So we know we're talking about a king, and we know that it's his mother that is uttering these words to him. So even when you get into verse 10 continuing, this is the whole thing is his mother talking about the virtues of a woman that he should be choosing. Obviously, right? She's not telling him just for fun to say, well, hey, these are the virtues of a woman that you should know. No, she's telling him because these are the virtues of a woman that he should cling to, that he should be with. As king, he needs someone that is virtuous to have all these qualities, right? That will enhance all that he is already providing as king. Okay, so that's verse 1. So we understand that this is his mom, and she's everything in Proverbs 31 is what she is uttering to him, is what she's passing on to this king. All right, so let's go to the second verse. Then she says, "What, my son?" Yes. And what son of my womb, and what son of my vows. So the fact that it's repeated so many times, it says, "What, my son? What, my son? And what son of my womb? And what son of my vows?" Yes? So all this repetition means that she is trying to get something in his head. For sure, she's saying, you are my one son. You are my son. You are the son of my womb. So you're my child that I have born. The son of my vows. Obviously, this is in it's, what would you say? It's consecrated. Like, he's consecrated in her vow, maybe even as a wife, and to God, right? As a wife, it could be to her husband, but even in that union, there is the overall being and the overall head of everything, which is God. So, son of my vows. So she's saying, you are dedicated to this union that I have with my earthly husband, perhaps, and with the Heavenly Father. So she's saying, like, you are my son of these things, and it's to reiterate, or to really enhance. She's trying to really, what's the word? Embed in him, right? Exact these things that she wants for him, that she knows are best for him. Yeah. So she wants him to pay attention. So she says, "Oh, what, my son? What son of my womb? What son of my vows?" Yeah. So she's saying, she doesn't want him to come to naught. This is her son, the son of her womb, like we said, and the son of her vow. So there's a lot. There's a lot riding on this for her, and she wants the best for him, as I think any mother would want for their child, would say to their son, to their daughter, these are the things that are best for you. And the fact that it's repeated so many times, "What, my son?" and what son of my womb, and what son of my vows. Yeah. So she's like, man, my son, my son, my son, I want the best for you. Yes. And so she says, first order of business, Do not give your strength to woman, yeah, nor your ways to wiping away sovereigns. Now it's interesting because Proverbs 31 is known universally worldwide. We know it as the Proverbs that talks about the wise woman. But in this verse, this is verse 3 that we're at, his mother, the king's mother, this king's mother says, well, if it's Solomon, then it's Bathsheba, if that's how her name is pronounced, excuse me. But we're not sure. So we're just saying a king, and his mom is giving him this this guideline. She's giving him this straight out rule, like, this is what you need to be doing, my son of my womb, my son of my vows. So first order of business in chapter 3, in verse 3, she starts to lay out exactly what she wants for him, yes, and exactly what he should do, what he shouldn't do. And she says the first thing that he shouldn't do is to give his strength to woman. And isn't that peculiar? What does that mean? What is she talking about when she says, do not give your strength to woman? If we remember, if we look at Solomon and even David, their weakness was in woman. That was the one threaded line through that entire lineage, that that was their weakness. They were absolutely straight along the line with the Most High in everything. But when it came to women, David sent I can never pronounce her name properly. Bathsheba sent her husband out, right, to war, to make him die so that he could marry her. So that's a weakness, right? So he basically broke the Most High's laws because of a woman. And same thing with Solomon. Solomon had many wives who were not all Israelites, so therefore it watered down his strength and his clinging to the Most High. So first thing, and so this person might be along that same lineage, right? Where this mom is saying, well, hey, I know the history. So the first thing she says is, do not give your strength to woman. Yeah. And it's not saying like, oh, don't be nice to women, or don't be a gentleman, or anything like that. What she's saying is that don't be weakened in the flesh for woman. Yes. And I think that's important to note. Then she goes on to say, nor your ways to wiping away sovereigns. So she's saying, don't just go out there picking a fight with everybody that you come across. Yeah. Build your kingdom and stay true to the word of the Most High. So she's saying, don't just go overtaking everybody's land and everybody's business, because, that could be dangerous. Yes. Yeah. And is it according to the Father's will? Is that what Father wants you to be doing? Or is that your fleshy desire? Is that your carnal desire? That ego saying, I'm the king of the land, and I'm going to go and get this land and that land and whatever. So she's warning him here, and this is about his character. Yeah. So in Proverbs 31, it's not only talking about the woman's character, but it's also talking about the man's character, that kingly character that should be kept, right? To be in union with this virtuous woman that we'll see her characteristics coming down the line in the next few verses. So the first thing, and I'm not going to make this video very long. So we're gonna end off with number 4. That's the next one. So what we've done so far. So she said she's giving him some orders, right? So after she has lamented and said, "Oh, my son, my son, my son," she's saying, "Hey, first thing, do not give your strength, or do not be weakened by woman. Do not give your strength to woman. 2, don't go wiping out sovereigns all over." Yeah? So she say, "Nor your ways to wiping away sovereigns." Right? So don't go destroying kings all over the world. Keep your strength, guard the land that you have, and build on that. And build on that, right? You don't have to go out to build. You can build up, right? And you can build, well, you don't want to be like up, like you're going to overtake the Most High, but just like you can build up yourself without overtaking others. And that's something that's real life. Like some people think like you have to tear down other people to get to where they want to be. You have to be covetous and all these kind of things. You don't have to be like that. You can be a clean, decent, kind, loving, upstanding person and still be amazing, be a bright star, be purposeful, and have all the goodness and the greatness in life that you would want, right? And that's what the Most High tells us to do. He tells us to stay upright and just, and whatever you ask, you will receive. And so this is the mother's way of reminding her son, who is king, of these things. So let's move on to that last one. We're in verse 4, and I'm going to just skip across here. It says, "Not for sovereigns, O Lemuel, not for sovereigns to drink wine, nor for princes to desire strong drink." So she's saying, first of all, it is not for sovereigns. And she repeated it twice. So this might be a weak point for him or something, because she says, it is not for sovereigns. It is not for sovereigns to drink strong wine, right? To drink wine, nor for princes to have strong drink, to desire strong drink, nor for princes to desire strong drink. Why? Why would that be? Well, one, we know strong drink, wines, we know that's obviously alcohol. And what does alcohol do? For those of us who have had 1 or 2 cues in life, or 1 or 2 glasses of wine, whatever it is that you've had before, what does it do? It alters your perception. Yes? You get a little bit more free. You're like laughy, happy, but you're also very inclined to doing something that you wouldn't have done if you were sure-footed and grounded, right? In your true self. So she's saying it is not for sovereigns. And she says it again, it is not for sovereigns to drink wine. Yeah? Because think about it, if you're king and you're up there drinking wine and carrying on, then it can get out of hand, right? And as the king, you have all power. So this man as king is capable of maybe overstepping his boundaries, right? if the wine gets to his head a little bit too much. So she's saying, hey, be careful of this. Yeah. So she says, it's not for sovereigns. It is not for sovereigns to have strong drink, nor for princes to have wine, to drink wine, excuse me. And it is not for princes to have strong drink. Right? So it's the same thing that she's saying. She's like, whether you're a king or you're a prince, you're in line to the throne. You're on that line. So you need to watch what you're doing. You're not just some regular Joe on the side of the street that, just having a drink tonight and goes home and sleeps it off. You actually having a drink can alter so many things, because in that moment you can wield your hand of power. So having that power comes with some responsibility, is basically what the mother is saying. And she's saying that strong drink or that wine is not conducive for for you as king. Yes. And maybe this is somehow bringing out the characteristic of her son that she would know, right? Because she's repeating it. She's saying, it is not for sovereigns. It is not for sovereigns. So this itself could also be a shortcoming that she knows that he could be inclined to, and she's persuading him not to go that path. Yeah. So let's do one more, because it's getting nice and juicy now. So we'll do 5 and we'll end off. And it says, lest they drink and forget the law. What did we just talk about? We said that if they drink and they get happy and just over the top with everything, then they might just wield that power a little bit too much. And that's what she's saying. Lest they drink and forget the law and pervert the right of all the afflicted. So all the afflicted means what? Everybody who is under your regime. Everyone that's in his regime, or everyone, or his enemies, or whatever it is, but whoever is within his reach, yeah, this king's reach, could become a victim of this strong wine being in his system. So she's saying, don't do it, right? Lest you go do something that you shouldn't be doing, right? Like forgetting the law of the Most High, which is obviously not what they should be doing, because the Most High should be their head, right? Since they're the head of the people, or should be the one that they look to. Just like in marriage, the man is the head of the house, and his covering is actually the Most High. So it's the same thing with the king. His covering is the Most High. And if he's going to be forgetting the laws due to strong drink, well, he shouldn't be drinking any strong drink. Basically. And that's what his mom is saying. And she says, lest you forget the law and pervert the right, yeah, of all the afflicted. So for you forget the law, right? And then you go and start messing with people, and maybe locking people up, doing whatever it is, but just wielding that heavy hand, that heavy hand of power. And so I'm going to leave it there for tonight, for this video. But what I want us to be taking away is that this Proverbs 31 up to verse 5 is actually describing the characteristics of a virtuous man, yeah, who in this case is king. But these are virtues for every man, yeah, that's wanting a virtuous woman, because obviously if you're going to have a virtuous woman, you're going to need a virtuous man to go along with her. It's not going to be a virtuous woman and an unvirtuous man, or it's not going to be a virtuous man and an unvirtuous woman, right? So they're going to have to match. So what the mother has been laying out is the virtues that he should have. And then we'll see later on where she starts to lay out the virtues that the woman that he should choose should have. So, all right. So I hope you were blessed by this first 5 verses of Proverbs 31. We're going to pick up from here. We're going to start off into verse 6 in the next video. So bring your scripture, bring, all your little research stuff, and let's go through this together, get some learning done, and continue on the walk of this season as single women and single mothers, on the walk as a virtuous woman. And that's why we're in Proverbs 31, because it is laying out what a virtuous woman is. But incidentally, as we start off, it doesn't start off as a virtuous woman. It starts off with a mother talking to her son, right? And what we're seeing is that she's laying out some guidelines for him, and the characteristics that he should try to maintain, and that is more gearing him towards being a virtuous man. So a lot revealed in this session today, in these first 5 verses, and we just look forward to receiving all that the Most High has for us in the next verses to come. So, reach out with your comments. Send me a message. If anyone gets that King Lemuel reference, do shoot me a message or a comment. Leave it below. Like and share this video. Like the page and subscribe so you can get all the updates. And we'll see you in the next video. All right. Blessings. And I hope that this video is a blessing to everyone that watches it, and that you've gained some kind of insight and understanding and strengthening in your walk as a single woman or single mother in this season. All right, my ladies. Love, love, love.